Hi guys, I just want to do another video comparing kind of the benefits of NOFAP versus the negative side effects of PMO. For anyone who's new to NOFAP, PMO is an acronym which stands for pornography, masturbation, orgasm. So basically explaining it's a cycle, you know what I mean? You look at porn, you fap off, you masturbate, you have an orgasm, PMO. And we refer to fapping to porn as PMO in this kind of NoFap community. So let's see, where do I begin? When you're doing NoFap, the day is bright, not because the sun is shining, but because you're happy. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about long term, okay? So I'm not talking about a week NoFap, 2 weeks NoFap, 2 months NoFap. I'm talking about like 2 years NoFap, 1 year NoFap, 6 months NoFap. You know what I'm saying? 10 months NoFap. That's what I'm talking about, okay? You got to give it time. You know, you can't expect to hit your head with a hammer for 10 years and expect the pain to go away once you stop in a matter of weeks. It's going to take a long time to undo the damage and get back to normalcy. So, you know, for me personally, doing NoFap long term, like, I'm just happy, and there's just like this happiness inside of my heart for no reason. You know, it's not because anything in particular. Just for no reason. The day is beautiful. And I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm positive, I'm free. Now, you know, when you're doing hard mode, easy mode too, but, you know, like, when you're doing NoFap, basically, like, there comes times when you get hit with excessive amounts of libido. And that's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with sometimes. I mean, it depends what your lifestyle is, you know, like maybe you got a girlfriend, so it's not that bad. Maybe you're single and, you know, having a hard time interacting with people or meeting people, then it can be extremely difficult. Maybe you're on easy mode, but you don't got a girlfriend, but you know, you're kind of just calling up some girls or meeting girls, whatever. And that can be, you know, good and bad, depending on the situation, right? So, but my general point is that, like, talking about long-term NoFap, overall, you're just really, really happy, man. And there's a certain kind of freedom that is hard to describe. It's the freedom of recovery, of not being an addict anymore. And it's kind of hard to describe until you just experience it for yourself. But it's like a tremendous weight is lifted off of you. And you're free and happy, and you love life. Now, of course, it's not every single day, because life is still life. But in general, most of the time, that's how you feel. Now, as I said, there's certain aspects of NoFap which is tough to deal with, right? Maybe it's libido. Maybe there's a lot of pain that you're dealing with, and people use PMO as a coping mechanism, be it consciously or unconsciously, and it makes you very numb. You know, when you're doing PMO, your brain releases the same amount of dopamine as if you took morphine. So, and what does morphine do? It makes you numb, you know what I mean? It's a painkiller. It's a downer, it's a depressant, you know, or, you know, it's like, it's a downer. You know, it kind of suppresses you. It's a suppressant, rather, I should say. And so, if that's how much dopamine your brain is releasing when you're doing PMO as morphine, then obviously it's going to have similar effects. You know, not exactly, because it's different, but similar, right? We can compare. It's comparable. So, you know, moreover, my point is that on long-term NOFAP, you're really happy and you love life and you're free and it's beautiful. It's very beautiful life. And there just comes these pings of difficulty, you know, and I'm not talking about like the beginning stages of NOFAP, you know, I'm talking about like once you get a handle on NOFAP and like you're doing good, you know, there comes these pings of difficult situations, but they all pass away, you know, just like the night passes into the day. Any difficult situation is going to pass away, and you're just going to, if you don't relapse, then you'll be feeling great, you know, it'll pass away and you'll still be feeling good. So moreover, in general, my point is that looking at long-term NOFAP, in general, it's a beautiful life. But there are some difficult situations that you'll encounter, although they will be brief compared to your time spent in happiness and peace and freedom, love, fulfillment, bliss. Let's take a look at PMO, for example, in comparison. It offers temporary hits of pleasure, distractions, mind-numbing, meaningless, temporary satisfactions, this kind of thrilling excitement that pleases the ego, lust, makes you numb, you can forget about your problems, novelty, and it all comes in little hits of pleasure, you know, be it, you know, shorter or longer, however much you're doing of it. But in general, it is seriously making you have a really negative life, you know? And I've explained this why in most notably 2 videos. I mean, my whole channel is, you know, kind of aimed at spreading the negative effects of pornography addiction. But there's 2 recent videos. One's called Why NoFap Saves People's Lives, and the other one's called Why PMO Ruins People's Lives. And I explain in great detail why PMO ruins people's lives in that video, and why NoFap is going to have you live a beautiful life. So my point that I'm trying to make at this moment is that PMO can offer short little temporary bursts of getting high and getting by. You can get high and forget your problems, whatever they might be for you. But in general, doing PMO all the time, especially when you're doing it every day, is going to have a seriously negative impact on your life, leading to unhappiness, stress, lack of fulfillment, lack of loving life and love in your heart, lack of a loving relationship. You're not stoked on life. Life is not beautiful, you know, it's just dull and life sucks, more or less, you know. So that's my basic comparison of NoFap and PMO. So to summarize the video, to wrap up with a conclusion, I would say that on a day-to-day basis, we are all faced with a choice. Now, before I get to my final conclusion, let's do what is it called? An interlude, a bridge, an interjection. And I want to say that NoFap affords you, or it gives you, ample amounts of time, free time, energy, and attention. And when you use it constructively on a day-to-day basis for long periods of time, it's shocking, it's remarkable what you could accomplish. I mean, if you're doing PMO for an hour a day or a few hours a week, you could accomplish a lot of things in an hour a day or a few hours a week if it all adds up to something, you know? So even if you're just doing one PMO a day, one time a day, you know, everyone's different, right? Some people do it for a long periods of time, do PMO long, or just like vapped porn for a long time when they do it before they're done, and multiple times a day, etc. And that's a tremendous waste of time, energy, and attention. Even if you're doing it for just a little bit, it's still draining you, you know. And this goes into kind of the Eastern philosophy of spiritual energy, you know, Qi, Jing, Shen, Virya, Ojas, Shakti. And these are just kind of Eastern terms to describe a basic energy inside of us. You know, it's not far-fetched to say that when you're done with PMO, you're tired, you're weak, you're drained. And most people are unconscious of this. They're not really aware of it. But when you do NOFAP, when you try to do NOFAP for a long time, and you experiment with relapse and streaks and relapse and streaks, then it really teaches you just how powerful we can be when we're not doing PMO. You know, just your energy, your vitality, your strength, your confidence, your clarity, your focus, your drive, your ambition, your power, your self-esteem, your etc., right? It's really remarkable what we could accomplish. And it's no surprise when you look at how powerful the energy of sexual desire is. You know, it's one of the most powerful human desires that we have. And if you can sublimate that and direct it to some worthy goal, aim, or ideal, then it's quite remarkable what you could accomplish, and all great men and women have done just that. And that's why sexual transmutation is such a noteworthy topic when it comes to the topic of success. So the reason why I bring that up is because it's going to be a big part of my conclusion. Okay, so here's the conclusion of the video. On a day-to-day basis, we basically have two choices, right? Obviously, we have a lot of choices in life, but when it comes to NOFAP, I'm trying to keep it simple. So here's the two basic choices. And again, I'm talking about kind of like long-term NOFAP, okay? So bear that in mind. This is the two choices. Number one is we do NOFAP. And we have all this free time, energy, and attention. Now, of course, some people work more than others. I myself am a working man. You know what I mean? I do all kinds of jobs, right? But I work my ass off, you know? And I wake up early and I go to sleep late. And sometimes, you know, oftentimes I work my ass off, you know? And manual labor and, you know, all kinds of stuff that I don't necessarily want to do. I don't want to do, but, you know, just for now, right? Until I can support myself on YouTube, from YouTube, and coaching people and, you know, do what I want to do for a living. So, you know, but with even still, we do have a lot of free time, energy, and attention. And the more that you pursue success, and the more that you know, there's a lot of things you can do to kind of simplify your life and to increase your financial development in order to have more free time, right? Energy and attention. But even if you are working, you know, doing NOFAP, you still do have a lot of time, energy, and attention as well. And basically, you know, my point is that you can channel it to achieve awesome things with your life, really awesome things, you know? I mean, look back at all the years that you've been doing PMO. Think about all the time that you've wasted because you were a PMO addict, and you'll realize that, man, I could have accomplished so much. And you're not really going to understand this until you actually start developing hobbies for yourself. Like, I didn't actually really understand this until I started pursuing things which take a lot of time, because then I realized how valuable time is. And so, the two choices that we have is we do NOFAP and we channel our time, energy, and attention constructively. And I'm a huge believer in, a simple life as well. So I'm not saying you got to always be busy and you can't ever rest. I'm a huge believer in, a Taoist life. But still, it's fun to have hobbies and do things as well. And anyways, in general, your life is going to be the most beautiful, happy, wonderful life. And again, I'm talking about long-term NOFAP. And everyone knows the feeling of having late night urges, but getting through the night, you focus on inspirational stuff or you just go to sleep or whatever. And in the morning time, you're so relieved that you kept going, that you didn't break your streak, right? We all know the feeling. Am I right? And so that's kind of the one choice that we have. It's the choice to, make the most of our time, energy, and attention and live an awesome life, a beautiful life, and do all this great stuff on NOFAP. But that comes with the price of obviously, obviously being disciplined and all that stuff, but there's a lot of prices that you got to pay for success, because success is reserved for people that are willing to pay the price and do whatever it takes. But the price that I'm talking about right now is the price of living that NOFAP life. Is there's certain little points where it's going to be excruciatingly painful. Maybe you're just flooded with libido and you have no way to deal with it, no way to channel it, like express it sexually. There's going to be so many times on your NOFAP journey when maybe you have urges or, whatever. Like you're having a difficult day, a difficult time, a difficult situation, and you think, oh, well, I could do PMO, and the price that you got to pay is dealing with the pain without doing PMO, and just suck it up and keep grinding on some worthy things and do whatever, all-star mode. Stay true to yourself, follow the light in your heart, fly on the wings of love, walk your highest path, essentially. And just do whatever it takes and do that all-star life and get through the difficult situation. And the more accustomed you become to NOFAP, you realize that those difficult situations, in general, and not all the time. Once you do NOFAP for a long time, again, I'm talking long-term, obviously, then in general, most of the time, you're having a beautiful day, a beautiful life. But there's just certain points, and it might last a minute, an hour, a day, or a week, even a year, depending on what you're going through. But shit, man. Like, there's so many benefits of doing NOFAP. The person that you become through doing NOFAP alone is tremendous. People don't understand that because they don't value self-transformation. But yeah, man, like, the benefits of not relapsing is so beyond what I could describe how good it is. The benefits is beyond words. And that's why I'm so dedicated to helping people do this. So that's the first option, right? And the second option is we all know the feeling of having a good day on NOFAP, but you got hit with an urge or whatever. You were in a difficult moment and you gave in. And we all know the feeling of waking up the next morning and realizing it's just the most heavy feeling. It's heavy in your heart and your mind and your spirit, man. It's heavy. It's heavy to come face to face with the relapse. You know what I mean? The aftermath of the relapse is heavy. But what was it for? You know, and it's a negative cycle, and it leads you to worse and worse states of consciousness, worse and worse life. And every single aspect of your life and yourself, will get worse when you do the wrong thing in life. When you do the wrong thing, it can only get worse. And it will. It won't get better, and it won't stay the same. If you keep doing the wrong thing, it's going to get worse. That's the only option. That's the only thing that can happen. But for what? For a little hit of dopamine. For a little temporary feel good. And that's the trade. And those are your two choices. And no matter what, whatever difficulty you face will pass. Maybe it'll take a minute, an hour, or a day, or more, but it will pass. And when it does, love will be there again. And happiness, peace, freedom, fulfillment, bliss, strength, goodness, nobility will all be there because you've weathered that storm. But if you quit, that difficulty and that urge and that darkness and that depression is going to last you forever.